Hey everybody, Jake here with TrendSpider to go over the weekend analysis for SPY, QQQ, and XBI into April 8th. And we've got some interesting things going on here. First of all, we do have a nice continuation after this huge engulfing candle on the weekly. However, with this big uptick in price, we do have the volume bar not as strong as you'd think with this type of price action. So that is something to keep in mind. However, you have to consider that all this volume was at a much higher price than last week. So to kind of look at the lower indicators on this side of things, we do have the percent range still holding very well in this area. Generally, people would think, okay, this is overbought. Maybe it's a time to kind of look at selling. However, this has proven in the past when it has been in this area, this has been a signal kind of for the RSI to continue up, which is really what we're seeing here with the RSI nowhere near overbought levels yet, and possibly really a continuation up to above the 70 mark. Now, the vortex indicator is looking interesting for the bear thesis, with the vortex positive starting to kind of continue to converge towards the vortex negative. However, last week we did have this kind of bounce away from each other. So this could be a false signal, similar to kind of what we had here. We did have this move down. However, that did kind of yield a much bigger return to the upside. So we always have to consider things can false signal, but this would be something to consider on the bear thesis side of things. Now, on the daily chart, we do have an interesting breakout here with the ascending wedge breakout through this resistance on Friday. We do have an alert on the kind of all-time high price level here around 293. However, we do have a very kind of sensitive area where we don't have to potentially hit this exact area right here. We can kind of be alerted whenever price action gets anywhere within this purple shaded area. So if we did continue up, we would be alerted anytime the price gets in this area. Now, same kind of thing. We are moving up. We do have a ton of gaps here on the daily, and the volume has kind of been on this downtrend. So these are things to consider for a possible bear thesis. However, based on the charts, I would have to think, this does want to run back to the megaphone resistance area, possibly to test all-time highs around 298 to 300. We can see here that anyone that was really looking at this possible head and shoulders pattern here, this is now completely also kind of broken out now and not really a potential setup. So going into QQQ, we have a kind of similar situation here. We do already have the head and shoulders completely, broken out through, and a continued move up on the weekly candle. However, notice how the volume is decreasing as the price is moving up. Always something to consider, as well as the fact that the RSI here is actually already getting into this overbought area. Now look here, in the past, back in October of 2017, we did this and continued to move up for a very long time. So there's a lot of ways to look at this. Volume decreasing is something to watch, but when you have increasing price, that you have it percent range, we do have this overbought area, and technically this could continue to move way above 70 here. So if we do look at the daily candle, we can see a very similar thing as we did on the SPY, and we can do something similar where we will pull up the fib. This is the weekly fib level, and we will just create an alert at this line for a breakthrough touch or bounce. And for me, I want to kind of get the sensitivity right to where this the open of this candle was, and so that kind of captures a lot of kind of margin of error that could occur. Sometimes we can really reverse before these trend lines if enough people are watching them. So to put this margin of error around it, you can kind of catch the move possibly before it reverses. So we'll have this on the 5-minute to trigger. We'll do all-time high test. We'll have it expire in 30 days or triggered once. And now we have anytime the 5-minute candle gets in this shaded area and closes within it, we will be alerted. So this is something to watch. Notice how in this channel on the weekly, we do have a ton of upside if we did continue to march up to all-time highs here. So all in all, based on the charts, it does look bullish. As I've mentioned in all videos, I'm not a licensed broker or advisor, just, hopefully working on my CMT in the coming months and years. We just got done with the CMT event this week, and it was an amazing time. So big shout out to you guys for having an awesome event. And, if anyone's interested, you can always go check out the CMT Association and see what it's all about. Now, on to the last chart we have here is XBI. This is biotech, one of my favorites to watch. And the thing is, in this one, we have a very big breakout on this really big wedge here. So nice move up, closing at the high of the week on Friday. And we do have decent volume here and plenty of room to move up on the RSI. Vortex indicator is something to definitely keep in mind, as when this the positive does cross the negative to the downside, that can be a signal for a breakdown or a reversal of the trend. But this can always false signal as well. The alert is right at the kind of all-time high trend line, downsloping area here. So anywhere around 98, we will be alerted. You can see that a little better on this daily chart. So anytime we get in this area, we will be alerted. Now, let's say that we do want to pull up an alert on kind of a conditional criteria side in case this did start to break down. What we can do here is create an alert. We'll do a multi-factor alert. We'll do bear thesis engaged. Maybe 30 days have passed or triggered once. And in this case, maybe we do a possible breakdown. So as much as this looks bullish, let's do the daily Williams percent range. This is the 20, is less than the constant value of, let's say, if this started to really break down through -25, that may be a time for me to say, okay, maybe this is a reversal. So we will do that. Next one we'll add is the RSI. So the weekly RSI. Yeah, I accidentally did that wrong. Sorry, folks. All right. The weekly percent range is less than -25. And we'll do the weekly relative strength index is less than, if this started to break down, let's say below 45, that would be something to consider as possible breakdown. So -45. And then the final one would be this vortex indicator cross. So we'll do the weekly indicator vortex positive is less than the weekly vortex negative. And so when these two cross, that would tell us that this condition essentially became true. So we can have these in here, and whenever these three criteria all become true, we will be alerted. So now that is that, create the alert, and we'll be able to follow that on the alerts list right here, bear thesis engaged. So a very cool part of the platform. We are not just an automated technical analysis tool. We also have the ability to really create very robust alerts and allow you to not have to stare at the charts all day, and you can really have the system track how the price is moving relative to the technical indicators to always let you know what's going on. So just now that we have that set up, we will go over to the weekly, or the daily, and we can see, bulls are definitely in control here. It's natural to have this area as an alert area here, but we could also test all-time highs. But the first, layer or level of this chart that we need to break through is around the 98 area. So all in all, I have to say that things are looking very bullish on the markets. That's solely my opinion based on how the charts are looking and some of these breakouts are forming, but we will just have to see what happens. We do have our alert set for a possible breakdown for the bear thesis to really come true, and we'll just have to see what happens from here. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about the TrendSpider platform, please feel free to reach out on our social media platforms, or you can send us a message at hello@trendspider.com, and we will answer your email as quick as we can. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great weekend, and we will chat with you soon.